know about the tariffs? How do you feel about the tariffs, Ian?
I'm confused.
What's there to be confused
Ask a question.
about
I might be able to help you.
So you got the
It's Trump's tariff.
You got the tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
You got like the tariffs got increased.
Reciprocal tariffs. You know what reciprocal tariffs mean?
If you tariff, they tariff back.
Well, if they tariff us, we do it to them.
Okay.
To the same level.
My question with the tariffs. Clearly something's increasing.
Yep.
What is increasing?
It's costing companies more to ship products into our country if they manufacture it overseas. But if you manufacture it here, you don't have to pay that extra cost to ship it into our country.
Okay. So if you change things and everything was manufactured in the United States.
Okay, let's say, for instance, Ford, right?
Okay, Ford.
They're making their cars in Mexico.
Got you.
And then shipping them into America.
Okay, so there's a price for that.
Yeah, now it's going to cost them an extra 25% more than what they were paying before. If they want to save that 25% that they would be costing them more, they would have to shift production back into an American factory to not have to pay that tariff.
Okay. So if things got switched back into an American factory,
yep,
would the price of the product be more, like the cars be more expensive?
No, the price would actually be leveled off and be the same.
Yeah.
Because you're now having an American worker making that vehicle. You have to pay that American worker an American wage.
There will be more jobs.
So there's going to be more money in the economy coming in.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? So demand is going to go up for American products because there's going to be more Americans with more money because there's going to be more Americans working. So there's going to be more money going into the American economy. Instead of Americans buying Chinese goods or Japanese goods or Germans goods and building up those economies, we're now going to be putting more money back into our own economy.
Yep.
Okay. So
if an item that you get from China costs $10,
yeah,
right, then that same item that's made here will probably cost $7, $5, maybe, depending.
Yes and no. If let's say if there's like a coffee mug, if it costs right now it costs them $3 to make it in China, but it's $6 here because it costs $6 to make it here.
Mm-hmm.
What the tariff does is it brings it up so that way for the Chinese to be able to bring it in, it's now going to cost them about $7. So the American mug stays at $6, but the Chinese mug becomes a $7. So it's now you're more incentivized to buy the American mug. You see? Because the cost to make things in America that's the price. What it's making it for is now the American product can compete with the foreign product at a fair value.
So if you had another phone company outside of Samsung and iPhone's blueprints are made here in America, but the actual product is made in China.
Yep.
So say if you had another company like, I don't know, Mobile Land, was making phones and making smartphones.
Yep.
So they're making their smartphones in the United States. They got blueprints and everything. Everything is manufactured in the United States.
Well, you can see.
But if Apple is still bringing in the phone from China, that'll increase. But it's incentivized to buy the mobile
because the price to produce it in America, that's the price. You know what I mean? If it cost, for simple terms, let's say to make a hamburger in America, right? To get the burger, it costs you $20 to go buy the amount of hamburger you need if you're buying the American one.
Okay.
But if you were buying the Japanese one, it would only be $10 because of the way their prices are.
Okay.
Now, with the tariff on the Japanese bringing their meat in, the tariff would go up. It would now make it so it would be roughly $21 to get. These are all fake numbers. These aren't real numbers. I'm just throwing numbers. They're easy to work.
Okay.
It would now make it so that way that meat is now equal value of the American one. So it makes it so you have an equal choice.
It's just a little bit more.
It's more. It's incentivizing you to buy the American product over the foreign product. It's bringing the foreign product.
So I get the
equal
plan, but I also get why people are mad.
People are mad because yes, in the short term, you're going to be paying a little bit more money for things.
Yeah. So so I get the plan. I get why y'all don't like it. I get why people don't like it
because people don't like short term losses.
What I think the problem with it is it's instant gratification.
Exactly.
The products that are out right now, y'all are used to that.
Yeah.
You like it. We get it. It's been iPhone been around for the last 50, 30 something years. Okay. We don't have 30 years of iPhones. You don't have an American made yes, Apple is in the United States. But the product isn't made in the United States.
Now, if Apple wants to avoid the tariff, all they have to do is ship production to the United States. If it's made here, the price isn't going to go up. It's going to stay at the American level price.
Honestly, the way Apple makes money, they could have an American one and a freaking Chinese one. They could.
Yep.
Because everybody got an iPhone.
But their problem is, why would they do that if more people are going to buy the American one? They're going to lose money on the Chinese one now. The only incentive for them to produce in China right now is because they're slave labor, and
it's cheaper to pay. It's going to be more expensive if it's made here.
Because you got to pay an American worker $25, or you got to pay the Chinese worker $2.
I see what you're saying.
So what the tariffs are doing is putting the American worker on leveling out the playing field, so that way the corporations are taking advantage of slave labor overseas, because that's what that is.
That way we don't feel guilty about it, about having our phones. You see what I'm saying?
I would rather products go up slightly here, so there's more of a balance, so that way industry comes back to this country, so we're working and not having to live off of the government.
So I'm seeing the pros and cons of it. I see what you mean by the pros and the intention of the plan. The cons of it is y'all don't want to wait.
Yeah, exactly.
So
because this is a 3 to 6 month correction.
So I can understand some things you got to wait on. I think what needs to happen is, both Trump and Vance have said there's a short-term pain. Okay. Yep. I think when it comes time to short-term pain, you need to give people an estimate of what the short term is.
Well, they have to start seeing. It doesn't have to be all at once, but people have to start seeing steps in the right direction for people to be like, oh, okay, it's going to take a little bit of time, but at least we're moving in the right direction.
And I think that's what's everyone's freaking. I get why everyone's freaking out right now. I get why people are freaking out. I think you need, if you're saying, if the president is saying, okay, you're gonna have to wait a short term. All right, you got families out here who got to feed people and shit. So short term, are you talking 3 months? You talking 6 months? You talking a year?
Probably could take up.
So, and I think if people were given a breakdown of all right, this is what where we're expecting this stuff to even out. It's shaky right now. We're expecting it to even out here. I think maybe people will calm down a little bit.
But if people are actually listening, and if the media would actually tell what they're actually saying, they have been saying that. Trump is even, like you said, they have said there's going to be short-term pain. In the long term, this is going to be a benefit. Do they know the exact pinpoint of when it's going to go up? Nobody does.
Yeah, and I think that's why people are scared.
All we know is that in the immediate short term, it's going to hurt a little bit, but it's already starting to correct. Egg prices I saw are down 69% from when he got elected. That's just one little snapshot. Egg prices are starting to come down. Little things are starting to come down. Fuel and everything are starting to come down. As soon as we get more industry and more industrialization,
it's the waiting game.
Exactly.
The waiting game is really crappy and it's annoying.
A lot of these companies can't build a factory overnight.
No, you can't build.
You can't move your entire industry over to America overnight. It's not going to happen. It's going to take time to get these buildings up, refurnished, whatever. That's why it's going to. It's going to be, in my opinion, 3 to 6 months before you start seeing an increase in anything. But you're not going to keep seeing it dipping. It's going to level off. It's going to flatline, and then it's going to increase. Because if you think about it, even the drop that we've had in the stock market hasn't even been that big of a drop. If you look at it from a 5-year snapshot, we've had these little peaks and valleys, and that's what the stock market does. But the stock market has also been nothing but a big bubble that if this correction wasn't done, if it would have got to the point where it burst, it would have been worse than the Great Depression. There's too much money in the stock market, essentially. From when they were printing it all during COVID. Too many people were taking out loans and using that money to buy stocks. So there's just money that was printed that was put into the stock market to artificially blow it up.
Damn, that's like the bots with music.
Exactly. So Trump is doing this now before we have a major rush to the bottom. It's going to be a slow trickle and then a correction instead of a straight shot down. Because what would you rather have? 15 to 2,000 point drop in the stock market overnight or a 12,000 point drop overnight?
What was the number? You said the 15,000?
2,000 or 12,000?
I mean, if you got to pick, your small number is 2,000.
Because if you're going to go down no matter what, eventually it's going to start going down. Because the market needs to be corrected. You got to pretty much correct the inflation bubble without bursting it. Is what they're trying to do. Because if the American economy crashes, the world economy crashes.
So and that's why I'm not trying to be like one of the crazy people. Like I'm not trying to run around with my head cut off. I'm not an economic expertise. Okay, all I'm saying is like, for me, I gotta visually see something in order to understand it. That's just.
So with that said, hit the button and see what's got to be said.
Yeah, we haven't even started the thing.
So
you got to visualize it. Let's visualize it right now.
Don't scroll past this video because you're going to want to hear this. Stellantis, the maker of Ram pickup trucks, has just announced that they are laying off 900 people and shutting down 2 plants in Canada and Mexico because of Trump's tariffs. And that's what you're going to hear on the news today, okay? But the part you're not going to hear on the news is they also announced that they are reopening a plant in Illinois where they're going to hire 1,500 American workers to start building Ram mid-size pickup trucks. Now, if that is not what the tariffs were designed to do, then I don't know what is.
You see?
It's already working.
You see?
Oh, okay.
That was actually better.
Yeah.
I understood it better that way.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess. See, I like to think things out. I don't like to run. I don't like to pull the fire alarm as soon as I hear something. Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. I think it's already explained right there.
Okay.
Took 60 seconds.
I get the incentivized thing. That part I do understand.
It's already in motion. Things are moving and grooving. And like I said the other day, actually I think it was yesterday, of course mainstream media and Democrats are going to, try to make everybody panic. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Trump's tanking everything. Blah, 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 blah. He destroyed it all with these tariffs. How dare him? I mean, the answer to, some of this stuff is really quite simple. Buy American. Let's dive in.
Bring your factory to the U.S.
Yeah, and obviously with the cars, all foreign-made cars, imports are getting a 25% tariff starting at midnight. If half the cars coming into the United States are foreign-made, that's hard to turn around overnight, as you know. So what would you say to people in the auto industry who are worried about that timeline and how quickly that can shift?
Buy American.
Yep.
And what about American-made cars and produced cars that are being made using foreign-made parts?
Well, I believe the USMCA is exempt.
Yeah, those that are compliant with this. Obviously, yes. Canada and Mexico are not on here. A lot of these are our closest allies.
Bring your factory to the U.S.
Answer is quite simple. Buy American.
Yep.
Does anybody else get annoyed with Caitlin Collins? Like, it's just something about Caitlin Collins, who was the chick you just saw there in that interview. I don't know. I just get annoyed when I hear her and when I see her and hear her voice. Like, I don't know. She just comes off as just like annoying to me. But anyway, but not only that, Ford has stepped up to the plate.
Personal opinion, I guess.
Ford, the American Ford, stepped up to the plate. And if you haven't heard, well, check it out.
For the next couple of months, we're going to offer our customers the same deal that our employees get. And as you say, that's worth thousands of dollars. You come into our store, you get employee pricing. This is kind of to call a little bit of a timeout. We've heard some uncertainty from our customers, and we want them to be assured that Ford, the most American auto company, is going to do right by them, as are our dealers. We make the most cars here. We employ the most. We export the most. And so we here at Ford, we're in a good position to address customers' concern and give them a really great deal on a great vehicle.
Yeah, so
Ford
is offering American customers employee pricing, which could be worth upwards of, I believe, about $10,000 off of a brand new vehicle.
Rolling out employee discounts for all customers.
F-150, you'll be seeing savings upwards of $10,000.
Slabonic is a Pittsburgh native who grew up around the auto industry and supports Trump's tariffs.
I'm glad to see that we're trying to bring work back to our country, seeing all my friends' parents and had great jobs at factories and
I'm getting goosebumps, man.
Rolling out employee discounts.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, so
I bet you within the next 5 years, we'll see states like Michigan and Indiana coming back. Detroit will start seeing a resurgence because the automakers will be back. The factories will be going again. You're gonna have, because when you bring in 1,500 people into an area, that helps all the local businesses, helps all the local industry, the restaurants, the movie theaters, the grocery stores, the garages, the mom and pop shops.
We're going to be entering into the golden age.
Everybody starts making money.
Yep.
It's not just a plant opens up. Now that because that plant's there, guess what? This guy can open up a restaurant in the corner now because there's business that's going to be able to generate this.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, the movie theater's thriving again.
Everybody's going to be helping each other, pretty much.
The local bar is a hot spot on the weekends again. Yep. You see how things can compile? Mm-hmm. That's how quickly things can happen. I bet you within the next 5 years, we see Detroit will be one of the nicest cities in this country again.
I'm hoping. You know me. I'm
forget,
trying to keep an open mind.
Back in the 40s, Detroit was the richest city in this country. Not New York, not Los Angeles. It was Detroit.
I didn't know that.
You know what the second one was? Chicago.
Hey, listen, man. I don't like this. I don't like to run around with my head cut off. I like to keep an open mind. Of course, I want to see people doing well. Always want to see people doing well. If I got questions, I got questions. If I got concerns, I got concerns. I just try to keep an open mind and understand.
I would love to see the resurgence of the great American city. Not what you see when you turn on look at any city these days. But you need to have the industry to be able to do it. It doesn't just happen.
That's a pretty good discount right there. $10,000.
That actually is.
Sounds good to me. Sounds darn good to me. Me personally though, I'm not the biggest fan of Ford personally, but hey, to each his own, right? To each his own. A discount is a discount. Okay, I may take a second look at their inventory just because, right? Support American, and if you're giving me an employee discount, all right, I'll take a second look at your lineup. Okay, but you know, the thing about all of this is that I don't think this is crazy for a couple of reasons. But one also, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about, is the fact that when you go over to some of these other countries, you don't see Fords. Nope. You don't see Chevys. Nope. You don't see, Cadillacs, right? You don't see any of these American-made vehicles in some of these other countries, but you see all of their vehicles here on American soil. Mm-hmm. So Trump is just like, hey, let's level the playing field. You tariff the crap out of our vehicles, which is why you don't see our vehicles in your country. Right, but we don't tariff.
Toyota is from
Japan.
Toyota's Japan.
Yep. He's right there. You go to Germany. How many Fords do you think you'll find?
You don't even see American cars in foreign movies.
Exactly.
Like if they're going to like the spy movies, whether it's London and stuff. You
Aston Martins or
yeah,
you don't ever see a Ford or a Chevy.
You see the sports cars over there.
But in an American movie,
you see everything.
You'll see Audi all the time. Yeah. You'll see BMWs.
BMW is German, right? Yeah. Audi
Mercedes.
is what?
Mercedes.
Yeah. What's Audi? I
think that's German too. Or Dutch.
Honda is China, isn't it?
What about Mercedes?
Because Toyota's Japan.
I think Honda's Japan too.
Honda's Japan. Okay.
Mercedes, I believe, is German. But it's that's exactly it. You go over in London. You see any Fords in London? You think? So all Trump did was give the same tariff they're doing to our cars over there. He put it on their cars here now. People are losing their minds.
Oh, man.
People don't think. They just see that there's a higher price now, and they just think that everything's going to be expensive. Mm-hmm. They don't realize that when everything gets in the right amount in our country, everybody will be able to succeed. Mm-hmm. Everybody will have jobs. Like what he said or what they said. If there's a plant that's open, there's a restaurant there, those people that work in that plant, they're going to go into that restaurant. Yep. And then if there's a bar down the road too,
they're going to spend their money there.
People are going to spend their money there. So it's going to be like, it's going back and forth kind of thing.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
If any of your stuff, and you see all of your cars all around here. We're ending that. What's fair is fair.
So when you look at these moves, Geraldo, what do you see between the tariffs and Wisconsin? Like, what do you think? Where are we?
Let's just start with my vacation, Chris.
Sure.
Because the family, Erica, Sol, and I did visit Japan just back. I can tell you we went the length and breadth of the island archipelago and the big cities like Tokyo and the others. We did not see a single American car on the road in Tokyo. Mm-hmm. Not a Caddy, not a Buick, not a Ford, not a Chevy, not a nothing. We have plenty of Toyotas here in my neighborhood and around the country. So why is that? Now I have an innate sense that there's something unfair going on vis-a-vis the American consumer. Now I heard O'Reilly say that the numbers, give or take, don't really matter. That the experts will figure it out.
Well, here's my question: what happens when people don't want Fords? Like, I know there's a lot of Fords, but like people like the Toyotas. People like, you know what I'm saying?
The point is to make it a fair value. So that way Toyota is not making an extra 15 to 30% on their vehicle than what Ford can make.
I see what you're okay. You can't control what people want to buy. You just
exactly. But the problem is a $30,000 car in Japan, they're getting like $60,000 here.
Okay. So what's something like so the same car could cost $30,000 in Japan, but $60,000 in America.
But here, like our $60,000 Ford, they'd have to get almost $130,000 over there because of the way they're tariffed. You see the difference?
Okay, I do.
So they could sell it for a lot cheaper in their home, but they're gonna make more money in our economy. They're getting like a 2, sometimes 3 to 1 difference by selling to our economy. And what Trump is basically saying, why should we allow them to have this kind of influence on our economy when they don't allow us to sell anything over there? Why are we letting Japan make 30% extra on our economy when they're taking an extra 30% from our companies when they try to sell over there?
Okay.
You see now?
Okay. All right. But see, this is how I don't understand why more people can't do what we do. We're not yelling. We're not freaking out at each other. We trying to, talking and understanding things out.
Because unfortunately, people can't admit when they're wrong, and they like to think they know everything, and they get stuck in their mode, and when they hear information that challenges them, they get on the super defensive.
Like, we're not arguing.
No, we try to be open to information, and we try to talk through things.
Yeah, we're not arguing. I don't understand why more people can't do this.
It's kind of sad that people can't do this.
Yeah.
Have an open and honest discussion. And you guys are welcome to chime in anytime.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, what's...
But do you understand? Like,
okay, so in the long term, I'm understanding because you're trying to you're incentivizing the American citizen to buy American. If you choose to buy something from Japan, all right, no beef, but like
it's also protecting the American worker.
Okay. Yeah, if you're gonna sell, so I can understand if you're gonna sell something in my country, I should be able to sell something in your country.
Yep,
I can understand that.
And technically, Japan's saying you can, but no one's gonna choose a Ford when it's 3 times the price of a Toyota. If you were trying to buy like a basic car, are you gonna buy your $30,000 Toyota? Or are you going to go spend $130,000 on the Ford? When it's the same pretty much vehicle. If you're looking at the Fusion or the Camry.
I mean, common sense wise, you want to spend less money.
Exactly. And that's the way Japan looks at it. They're incentivizing them to buy Japanese vehicles. Germany incentivizes you to buy German. United Kingdom incentivizes you to buy United Kingdom.
I can understand what you're saying.
So why can't we do the same thing? And everybody's flipping out.
I can understand that.
We got to take care of our people.
I can understand that.
That's what Trump is trying to do. He's trying to take care of us.
But I think that if these numbers are correct, or some fraction of them, if the trend is correct, if there's not an essential lie being told here, and if we are getting screwed by these foreign producers, then I think it is if the reciprocal tariff, the key word is reciprocal. If they're screwing us, we've got to tax them at least. And he's saying, President Trump, that half is about the right amount. Well, I don't know. The experts have to determine that, but I just think that there's it smells something rotten.
So if they are tariffing our products, why don't we tariff theirs? Like he said, like Geraldo said, the key word is reciprocal.
Yep.
Reciprocal. They're already doing it to us, so we're doing it in return. What's so bad about that? And I got one more thing I want to show you guys that I came across, and I'll end this, get you guys out of here, but came across this post. And it says, I'm no economic expert, so I have no idea if this tariff plan is going to work. But what I do know is that Trump is at war with the deep state, and it is attempting to disrupt and is attempting to disrupt the system that they benefit from, and they don't like it. Yeah, we see that. They tried to kill Trump for a reason, 1,000%. The CIA and their subsidiaries have been using regime change operations to remove Trump by any means necessary for a reason. The reason is Trump is an existential threat to their permanent shadow government and their massive money laundering / racketeering schemes. Trump is trying to remove the entire corrupt system from its roots and replace it with the old system before income taxes and before the Federal Reserve. Yeah, the way our country originally was run. Trump is not just at war with the entrenched U.S. bureaucracy. He is at war with the global central banking cartel. Trump is targeting the source of the deep state's power, the money. Facts. That's why they're screaming so loud. The closer you get, the louder they scream. Just saying. So while I might not understand every single level or every single lever of Trump's plan, I understand Trump is the opposition to deep state, and the deep state see him as their greatest threat. Hence why they invest all of their time, resources, and effort into trying to stop him by any means necessary. Will Trump succeed? Who knows? We have no choice but to wait and see. But the fact that he is at least attempting to uproot the deep state and try a new formula already makes him one of the greatest leaders in human history. And I trust that his plan could work. Otherwise, the deep state would have no reason to fear him. And I read that because I 1,000% agree. I'm no economic expert. Never have claimed to be, and I never will.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to understand. I'm not an expert.
You know, I could do my research.
Exactly.
So I don't know if this is 1,000% going to work. But what I do know is that these same people that are screaming the loudest have been the ones that have been trying to go after Trump time and time and time again.
Yep.
They're the same people. So you have to sit back and ask yourself, why? Why? Why have they tried to get rid of this man so badly to the point where, allegedly, they tried to take his life on national television? Yeah, you know, that news network that never wanted to air his rallies, but all of a sudden wanted to air that rally that specific day. I'm not saying, you know, it was just a coincidence, right? It was just a coincidence. They happened to air that rally live. It was just a coincidence, of course. And I agree with the last part.
Yeah, I think I saw a state. There was a stat. There was like 69 rallies that were nationally broadcasted. CNN only broadcasted one. The Butler rally.
That's kind of weird.
I see what you're saying. Okay. All right. I see what you're saying.
That was really weird.
I see what you're saying.
Looking back on a lot of the stuff that happened that day, there's a lot of weird things.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Makes you think, right?
Yeah. And then with the information that we just learned about JFK and everything else, it makes it really look like the CIA tried to kill Trump. Just like they did at JFK.
Individual said here, I don't have any idea whether or not it's going to work, but I do know that they're still screaming, meaning the deep state and the left. And if they didn't believe it was going to work, why would they be yelling so loud? Wouldn't they just let him walk into his own trap? That would be the common sense thing to do.
Yep.
When you're watching your enemy destroy themselves, don't interrupt them, right? So if they truly felt that this was going to destroy everything, they would let him.
This has been my thoughts on it.
Screaming at the top of their lungs, trying to destroy him at every turn ever, I think tells me that he's on the right path.
Exactly.
And they're worried he's going to succeed. Because when he does...
If the Democrats truly believed that he was going to destroy it and everything was going to collapse around it, wouldn't they let it happen so that way they can campaign on the fact that look what he did and we can fix it?
Man, that's a lot of weight.
But he's attacking and taking away their money.
That's a lot of weight.
Their power.
That's
so they're screaming loudly right now.
That's a lot of weight, man. That's a lot of weight, Vito.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much going on, man.
When do corrupt people scream the loudest?
See,
when their money gets threatened.
When I say stay woke, I'm not trying to be on like everybody kumbaya sit by the fire. I'm just like, when I say stay woke, I'm just like, there's a lot to be aware of, man.
Well, you mean stay woke by stay awake in view.
Yeah, be awake. Have awareness.
But see, when people say woke, they say
you're ruining the term, man.
Exactly.
You're really ruining the term. Mm-hmm. Really, I think the way my dad helped me understand it is kind of like back during like the era between slavery and segregation. It was way like black people said it like, "Yo, the Klan out there be like in the like the Klan out there just stay woke and be around, be aware of your surroundings."
Woke just used to mean make sure you pay attention to everything that's going on. They try to say, "Oh, I'm woke. I have a higher enlightening and understanding."
No, it's just like,
you're just not you.
I can understand it like big between with black people and the slavery. It's like when the Klan was like rampant and shit, and like careful where you go out there at night.
The whole woke thing is completely different meaning.
Yes, just like to me, I think feminism is different now.
Oh, it's completely different now.
I don't think it's the same as it was. I think it's much different now.
Because today's feminism hates women.
Like
the feminists today are trying to be men.
How you feel about that, Liz? Like feminism today?
I don't like it.
Like what you don't like about it? Like
it's anti-woman.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I want to be the CEO. I want to be out, wear the pants and be the boss.
Everything about feminism today is about being, you said.
Yeah, but then if you want to have a family, you can't do both things.
Women are attacked if they want to have a family.
Exactly.
So you like being a CEO and being a mom. You don't like
being a mom is more important than being a CEO.
Yeah.
And a feminist today is saying being a CEO is more important than being a mom.
Exactly.
When being a mother is the epitome of the job that you could hold in this world.
I mean, there's good moms out there. There's bad moms out there. Mm-hmm. There's good dads out there. There's bad dads out. I do believe that
and not only that,
never put a job above your family.
Exactly. But not only that, but what's gonna happen if you actually do have a family and you're a CEO and then your husband is also working in a company too? Where are your kids? They getting babysit.
Yeah, I understand that too.
They're getting taken care of.
Somebody got to watch the kids.
Exactly, but not by their own family, not by their own parents.
Yeah, you got kids out here probably being raised by the nanny.
What kind of values are the nannies teaching to the kids?
The woman used to be called a homemaker for a reason.
I mean, and looking at that, I'm pretty like, I'm lucky I had, two parents in my life that cared about me. Both had jobs, but also both like made it to my school functions.
Yeah.
We were home at night together. Mm-hmm. Both raised me when I, would take turns when I was sick, sick and stay home from school. Dad did it one time, mom did it one time.
You were a privileged child.
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah,
you were a privileged American child.
Yeah.
Yep. There's some certain jobs that you can have if you want to have a family. So, I don't know. They're just spreading, pretty much want women to be, how you call it? Like lady boss or...
They want women to be men. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Look at the movie roles they try to put women in now. They try to make... They grade a movie for a man and then put a woman in that role.
That's why we were saying that with like the Tomb Raider thing.
She was actually a feminine role.
Yeah, because they didn't try to make Lara Croft a man.
Lara Croft
was Lara Croft.
Yep. She was legitly a female character. It's not like they took Indiana Jones. They didn't write an Indiana Jones and throw Angelina Jolie in it. Even though that's what they're technically trying to do with Indiana Jones now. Is
like you got like my thing was like Elektra.
Yep.
You had Daredevil, but Elektra was Elektra.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's no reason for Black Panther to try to make a female Black Panther.
No, just make a character that works with Black Panther.
Exactly.
Well, the movie I was watching it in the
Yeah, the plane.
In the plane.
Yep. But you see, there's no reason to write a male character.
She gets the powers of a Black Panther.
Yeah. That's because they were trying to. Yeah.
I didn't even finish the movie because
same thing they did with Brie Larson and Captain Marvel.
I didn't see hers, but to me it was like you were just trying to make the woman Captain America.
Yeah.
Which I get what your intention is,
but it doesn't work. Nobody wants to watch the male hero arc with a female. That's why Disney lost, or Marvel lost so much money on those movies.
Like, who's really, like, I don't see anybody really talking about She-Hulk.
No. She-Hulk bombed.
Huh.
But if they would have actually wrote a She-Hulk and made it so it was a female Hulk, it would have been a better story.
Like, there's no female Thor yet.
No, but there actually is a She-Hulk in the comics. But they didn't write that character. They tried to make a female Bruce Banner.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's just
okay.
It's like
you can see my gears turning.
Yeah.
We're so far off of the tariff thing.
Yeah. Wow.
We're almost done with this.
Talk about wow.
But that's just me. Y'all let me know your thoughts and your opinions on this.
Bro.
As always, I greatly appreciate all of the continued love and support. Do me a huge favor. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button. It helps out tremendously. And share this video. Share it. At least the last part so people can hear it. All right? Peace and love. I'm out.
Bro, how did we get from tariffs to Disney?
I don't know.
How did we just do that?
All I know is it's not wrong when you wanted to be a CEO, but just remember that you can't be both things.
Right.
You know? And not only that, but they're just trying to push that down the throats of every woman. Like, no family for you. Be a boss bitch. It's pretty much what they're trying to say.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with being a woman.
Like, trying to equal, feminists, equality, but it's just some things that they're not equal,
Well, there's one thing a man will never be able to do.
Give birth.
Exactly.
How the hell did we go from tariffs to freaking feminism?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Because of woke and then went down.
Wow, we were gone, man.
We can go on tangents. It can happen.
Damn.
It happens. Thanks for stopping and spending time with us today, y'all. Hit that notification bell and give it a share because it does help the channel out.
Please and thank you.
See you guys in the next one.
Ready, y'all.
Peace.
Bye.